We are scientists, engineers, and statisticians. Explorers, dreamers. A crew that became a family. And, as of this moment, victims of a totally unwarranted wormhole aggression. The wormhole opens before us, around us, within us without warning. 1 minute, standard research vessel existence. The next, a kaleidoscopic death tunnel of prismatic energy and destruction. An infinite expanse of darkness, light euphoria, and pain condensed into an instant, then giving way to dreadful stillness. Dim emergency lighting flickers to life amid groaning bulkheads and sweating metal. Most of the crew, including the captain, are dead and critical systems are critically damaged. Scans show us to be in uncharted space with no points of reference on any horizon. We were tasked with studying the fringes of the universe. Those fringes just got fringier. So in a way, we're super overachieving. Together, with only science and our faith in each other, we must survive whatever it is we discover out here. We are lost, utterly beyond help. But whether we are beyond hope is up to us.
Hey everybody, it's Doug here. Welcome back to the channel and welcome back to a new playthrough. This time it's going to be my recently received Kickstarter version of Unsettled. Now I didn't back the original, but hey, before I get started, I want to let you know that I've had yet another rough round of COVID, or I don't know if I could say that on there without getting a strike, but the C virus, and took its toll on me this time. You can probably still hear it in my voice. I haven't completely recovered from it yet, and it's given me some challenges, but here we are. That's what I get for being around a lot of people all the time. I also had pneumonia not that long ago, so like I said, it's taking its toll on me. So bear with me if I'm a little slower on the way I'm speaking or something like that. But anyway, I do want to play this game with y'all and show it off. It's got amazing. It's just an amazing game. I even got a chance to get it to the table when I was at BGG Con this year, and we had some fun with it. Now, in my new Kickstarter, there was a bunch of stuff. We're not going to play with all of it, obviously. We can only play with one planet at a time anyway. There are now 10 planets available for the game. You know, the 2 that come in the box, which is Wanora and I can't remember the other one. I think it's, I don't know, one of the other ones, but it's in the box. And then there's also some expansions that add to your boards. I'm not going to spoil all those for you. I guess I could show them off in some later video. But there was also a bunch of other little expansions as well. There's this Survivor Task Pack, which adds tasks to things. There's this Luna's Performance and Assessment Log. These are just avatars, new images for your characters. And a Survival Task Pack 2, which is Wenora B, Gracchus, and Zeron. And this one is Yendel, Stranos, and Clefos. And so it gives you even more to do in the game. Plus there was this other little teeny expansion called Luna's Synthesizer. We're not going to play with these today. And one thing I wanted to show you as well, I got to move some stuff to get there. But there is these, we're not playing with this one, we're playing with a different one, but there are these scientific investigations as well. That is basically what they do. And it's very similar to the one we are going to play with, but we're going to play with scientific specializations. If I can get the box back open. Okay, I'm having a problem with the box. Just a moment. There we go. And you see it's got a little rule set for it, but it's got some other things. But it also has these abilities, these new abilities that go attached to your player boards. Now, I can't imagine playing with both of these. I think you're only supposed to play with one. And we're going to be playing with the scientific specializations, which you see here in front of us. We're also going to be playing with the base original planet Wenora, but we're not playing. We're not going to play the first scenario or whatever, the first task. We're going to be doing the second one. So, you know, we're not doing task A. We're going to do task B. I've played task A a few times, beat it a few times, so I think we're ready to move on. But as you know, this is a modular game. So while I have the base game stuff out and ready to go, I got to get the other components out for Wanora. We'll take a look at what our scenario is going to be and set up and get started. I'm not going to put anything else out yet. Now, you notice I want to explain the mechanics as well. So why don't I do that very briefly before we set up the planet. The game mechanics are very simple. These are not dice that you see here in front of our boards. They are action cubes. I don't remember what the actual name of them is, but they're not called dice. They're called something else. Let me look it up just so I can use the right terms. These are called somethings. This doesn't show. Let's see. 12 focus cubes. These are focus cubes. Now these they're all going to start. I'm showing you they're on 3 right now, but they tick down 2 and then 1. You never roll them. Well, maybe never, but I don't know. You don't normally roll them, and they all have up to 3 pips. They start on a 2, and then we're going to tick them down as we use them, meaning we're losing focus in that area. So that's part of the game. But we're going to be exploring a planet. We're going to be doing something different. The base part of the game is all kind of the same. You have the same basic mechanics of how you act, the actions you take, the things you can build and do in the basic part. But then each planet really radically changes it up. Now, as a solo player and someone who's demonstrating a game, that could be a little prone to some errors. So keep that in mind, because I haven't played the second task in Wanora yet. So we'll see how that goes. But basically, when on our turns, we're going to do a couple things. We have a bunch of free actions to do. And you'll see and understand this, of course, better as we play. But we can move. We get a free move. We can move 1 space. No problem. We can set our focus dice. That means spending our focus dice on our boards, and we'll see that as we go. We have 6 basic things that we can do. One of them we have to do, which is rest. We can move Luna. Luna is our friendly robot that helps us out and does things. She can help us explore more safely. She can also gather and identify resources for us. She can gather information and knowledge, as well as find materials for us to harvest. And that's basically scan. So she can scan. Now, Luna can also pick up data that she discovers, or which is a resource in the game. There's 3 resources. There's data, there's materials, and there's energy, basically. I mean, we'll see how that works as we go again. So those are the things you can do. Now, of course, you got 2 of these dice that you can spend, plus these other actions. And then, as a free action, you can do all this other stuff that we'll see as we play, and I'll keep this out in handy. I don't want to get too deep into it, because you'll see the game as we play it out. Also, the game space on the table is kind of interesting. It's got these trays. You do need them. It's also a very well organized game, all done with trays. Here's the tray that we have for the game that has some of the base components in it, and then you put the rest of the trays and character boards and things on top of that. They stack very nicely in the box, along with the 2 planets that you get when you buy the base game. Okay, that took it out of me right there. I'm going to break out first, before we get into this little expansion of scientific specializations. I'm going to get our planet set up. This is what a planet box looks like. This is the planet Wenora. It's also one of the easiest challenge rating planets that we have in the game. I think it's the easiest. But in there, we're going to get some basic information. We'll read some of the stuff, and it's going to give us some basic setup. And then inside there, you have this really wonderful little tray, plastic tray that has the planets in it. So we're going to pop this open, and we're going to get this out. Now this is something we may not be using, I'm not sure, but we will be using these. Now initially these are going to get placed out on the board. You'll see how that goes. And this is the planet itself. We're going to stack those up. Don't know how they're going to play out yet for this scenario. I haven't read the scenario yet, so we'll see how that goes. But we do know that we have these things called hallucinations. These are planetary discoveries. And we're gonna place them where they belong on the board, which is called environment. Now there's several boards, and I'll show you how it lays out. It's quite a bit of stuff, actually. And then we also have our opportunities, things we can discover that are going to go next to a different board, split into 2 piles. And then we're going to have our setup cards. See, we have task A, which I played through already. I won't ruin it for you if you haven't played through it, but we're going to skip through all of that to task B. So I'm going to put this back, the task A, back in the box for now, and we're going to take out task B. I'll put task C in there as well. We're not going to be playing with that. And then there's some additional things in the game that I'll show you. We can take off this part of the tray here, comes apart, and there's more stuff. Now these are going to get set up into a board next to me here, but we're going to take these out quickly because these are also going to be part of yet another board. There's all kinds of stuff, and I'm already making a mess trying to get everything out where it belongs because there's so many components in the game. But these are going to have Luna's primary function for the scenario, and in this case we can use an action. That means that it's going to tick down twice. We can do soothing robotic voice. An explorer on Luna's node can get rid of what's called a, I think, what are they called? Distress. Distress, and that's going to go in a special place on the board, which I'll show you as well. And then we have these breakthroughs, which are scientific breakthroughs specific to the planet. These are engineering breakthroughs. And there's, I'll show this board real quick once I set it up. I'm about to set it up now, so we'll get all this stuff out. These are chemistry breakthroughs, and these are robotic breakthroughs. You notice they're specific to Wanora. So, like I said, the thing changes every time. And then there's these distress cards. Now, in some games, some versions of planets, all the distress cards, God, I'm really challenged, I'm sorry, y'all, are very different. These ones are, as I understand it, and I know it, these are not. They're all the same, and they all do something similar. Then we got to take out all of these anomalies. We have these anomalies are going in their own little spot on the board right here, as you can see. And they're just going to get shuffled up. They have their own place to go, and we'll have those out on the board as well. And I'll show you that board right now since it's already mostly set up and ready to go. So this is the board I'm talking about. I don't remember what all the boards have a name, but here's our distress, our engineering, chemistry, and robotics breakthroughs, and our anomalies. They're all right here. Now we're going to go set up a board for our discoveries as well. Now these are going to get shuffled up all nicely. These are our opportunities, things that we can discover on the planet of Wanora. And we're just going to basically divide them into two semi-equal piles. We're not likely to go through all of them anyway. But we'll just kind of cut them in half. That looks like about half. We'll put half on opportunity A slot and half on the opportunity B slot. Like I said, there's a lot of stuff going on here. You can see that the board can end up taking a lot of space, and then these are some of these opportunity discoveries, and basically we put them out here so they're easy to find when we are grabbing them and getting them out after we've investigated and discovered what they are. And again, the game sets up very, very nice and easily. I know it seems like a lot. It might seem a little overwhelming, but it's actually not. It's very, very straightforward and simple. And that's basically how it goes there. And then we're going to take these investigation tokens. We're just going to put some of them here, and that will be for our investigations. And that's how that board is set up. Now, when we make discoveries, we're going to take these pucks. These pucks represent the section, and we're going to put them on the map, and that's where we get to discover new things. That's basically all the setup out of the box from Wanora that is just routine setup. Now we got to go to some very specific things. Now I've put our planet box off to the side because we need to get our world set up here. So I'm going to put our dice here, and our player mats are down below. Most things go off to the side, so I'm going to have them right to the bottom of my table because this does take quite a bit of space. So let's first take a look at the world, and we're going to read this very quickly. I'll leave it up on screen as well so you can read it by yourself. Just skip by if you want to. It says, "Icky, sticky, beautiful. When we left Earth in search of bizarre, wondrous new worlds, this is exactly what we imagined. The circumstances are a bit more catastrophically on the verge of death than anticipated, but awe in the face of uncertainty is the essence of exploration. Strange gargantuan fungal formations tower above us, swarming with alien creatures and dripping with bright liquids. Surfaces are covered in mysterious powdery substance. The air is thick, almost gelatinous, and there is an uncomfortable abundance of toxic-looking tendrils and suction cups. Couldn't be more alien. It took almost an hour of low-orbit scanning just to find a place to land, so dense is the fungal vegetation. With a world this full, it's impossible to imagine we won't find the things we need to survive. Whether these things kill us is another question entirely. Let's go touch stuff." I love this game. I love the way they talk. The words, it's kind of got some humor to it. It's really great. Okay, this is the introduction. Welcome to, well, who knows where. There are many planets for you to discover on your journey through the unknown fringes of the universe. You may explore them in any order you wish. We already know that, so we'll skip that. Okay, here's the quick setup for this. We've done all this. Perform the standard setup instructions. We've done that. Place the tentacle and cephalopod tokens in their designated areas. I'm not worried about those. We may or may not need them, but I have them aside. Planetary primer. Toxic spore clouds. Toxic spores cover the surface of the planet. Your movement will agitate them, stirring up nasty fungal clouds. When an explorer leaves a node being one of the tiles for the world, add a spore cloud or a black marker, which we have plenty of, to the node they just left. When an explorer starts their turn, if there is a spore cloud on their node, they gain 1 distress. And this is true for, I think, all the scenarios in the planet, unless a specific scenario tells you otherwise. There is no need to add more than 1 spore cloud to a node. Toxic spores are innumerable. Gaining insight on the planet will lead to comprehension, which in turn leads to scientific breakthroughs. Many of these will help you navigate or dissipate the spore clouds. A fungus among us. Much of your success navigating Wanora will revolve around how you adapt to the planet's spore-heavy environment. As you explore, you will quickly come upon situations that have significant negative effects on you unless you become a fungal host. In other words, integrating with the strange fungus of this world will open many helpful doors and close many damaging ones. To become a fungal host, you must possess components that has that property shown in a gold bar. That's right there. See, investigate, make discoveries, and earn breakthroughs to find ways to acquire properties like fungal host. Or if you can't beat them, hallucinate. So there's these things called hallucinations. I'm not going to read about them, but once we have 2 distress, the bottom line is when we have 2 distress, we're going to draw a hallucination card. Hallucinations can do weird things to us. Sometimes good, mostly bad. There's some advice on Unsettled and, resist being conservative and seek opportunities. That's the base game. Now, though, we have to go to our actual setup for Wenora, Survival Task B, Alien Protozoans. Setup. Place specific nodes as shown, then randomly place the remaining environment face down as shown all orientations in the same direction. Place the crew and Luna Explorer. Oh, we're going to be in the middle this time. Okay. On the Scarab. Stay alive objective. We need to figure out what we're dealing with so we can figure out how to not have to deal with it. That's fair. Okay, I'm going to do this part and then we'll get going. So I need a couple of things. I need these swampy quagmires out of here. We're going to find them. There's that. I don't know if that's the right one. I don't know if they're specifically called swampy quagmires. I'm going to look through them. Or are they just swamps? There's a couple of swamps in here. Oh, and here they are. Swampy quagmires. I hadn't shuffled them up yet. Now, when I played, this is like a new copy. When I played it, I actually played with the copy at BGGCon. So there we go. And then I'm going to take these. I'm going to shuffle them up, and we're going to set them up in the way that they show that we need to do that on the board. And then we'll have our planet ready to go. We did find a place to land. That's exciting. And we're going to map this out. Okay, here is our planet. So we have everything laid out and ready to go. We have, of course, only discovered the 2 swampy quagmires that are close to us, and we'll get into detail about what they are, but let's finish our setup. Okay, alien protozoans. Wow, we set a fungally jungly planet. It must be absolutely bursting with bizarre and wondrous alien life forms. And it totally was. Thus are terrible respiratory infections. Whatever we hope to find down here doesn't matter anymore. All of our focus is on developing medicinal inhalants to combat whatever is happening inside us. Luna keeps sending us medical reports. We keep archiving them unread. Tell us after it's better, Luna. Okay. Here's what we know. The spore clouds are hosted by a vigorous type of alien protozoan. They show little regard for the personal protective gear, and our pairs are plenty big enough for them to infiltrate. Our pores, rather. Sorry. Small text for me reading far away. That's about it. As much as we'd love to flee this place, so we can finally have the big cry we've been storing up. We fear we'll never discover the cure if we aren't here all sticky studying these things in their native environment. we're going to need a fresh infection, and fine, to let Luna take a closer look. Let's make it fast. Okay, that is the next second card. We're going to continue on now with our objectives. What do we have to do to solve this problem? Turns out we're right to not want to know. It's very upsetting. Also turns out we're right to find out anyway. It's only getting worse. We figured out a way to whip up a quick antibiotic, but it's a stopgap at best. Add the yellow circle trigger tokens to the 2nd and 5th space on the timeline. We'll do that in just a moment. And it says when the time marker reaches one of these triggers, the crew must either consume 3 materials or lose 4 focus. Man, that's really rough. Let's set that up. Okay, there is our time tracking board set up right here. And this is where our tasks go, but because of all the room and space we need, I'm not putting them there right now. We'll keep them separate. But as you can see, that we're going to have to, when we pass these spaces on our time track, and we're going to be using time of return, so on the very second turn, we're going to have to do that. So I have a feeling that getting enough resources by the second turn is going to be awfully challenging. However, it does show that the time token starts here. I wonder if that's a real thing. That would give us 1 full turn. Maybe it does. That's probably why it does that. The time token doesn't start on the exact first space, but it also then shortens our first turn quite a bit because we also lose stamina as we go. Okay, let's move on. Now, we're going to have to, let's back out a little bit here. We're going to have to research the spores. It says, this is what we actually have to do to solve this. Construct the research hut on any open build site. You'll see what a build site is as we play. Then use Luna to perform an analysis on infected distressed explorer. The infected explorer can be you, but doesn't have to be. These are the things we need. We must be present. Luna must be present. We must have a robotics breakthrough, and we must have a chemistry breakthrough. Then we perform an action using one of our dice. We're going to tick it down at the research station, and we need to spend these 3 things, and we're going to then figure out what that does. And I'm going to leave it like that. We're not going to know exactly what we need, what's going to happen after that takes place, so I'm going to leave that task ready to go for us. But we're not done yet, not by a long shot. We have a couple more setup things to do. The first thing we have to do is now each of us is going to have 2, I'm playing 2 characters, and we're each going to have a couple of personality traits that make us distinct and different and make our characters a little different. And I'm going to draw 2 at random from this big stack. I'll just take them from the bottom, and we'll just draw one near the bottom there. So nonconformist and intellectual. And we'll I don't know. I haven't played with all of them, so I don't know what's the best in the game or not. We have a zealot. That's not good, and an altruist. So let's. These will go aside. We don't need them anymore. And then we got to pick one that's going to. Basically, how this works is when we're happy with each other, when we're simpatico, and feel good about working together, we're going to have this side up. But when we're not, it's going to change. Now, it doesn't mean it's bad. It just means it changes. So it's very interesting. So for intellectual, basically, if I use this discovery die, the blue one, I'm going to gain insight. Insight gives us scientific breakthroughs. This actually covers my rest space. That's pretty cool because we have to rest every turn. And if we're resting with this die, that's useful. But only with that die, so that blue die. And we also have the ability to theorize. If we're nonconformist, if we use our green die, I think our science die, I don't remember what the dies, each die is called wonder. Sorry, it's awareness, wonder, and energy. So this is wonder. If we use the wonder die, we get to tick it up. And it doesn't go when we use our theorize ability, but it changes our theorize ability. And then another player gets to tick it up. So this would slow us down in discoveries. So I think I am going to take the intellectual. When we rest, we're going to get breakthroughs. And that will change. Now, when I flip it over to intellectual, it's going to change and go on my recovery spot. And there, it means I'm going to, when I use it, I can tick a die up twice. I'm going to gain 2 insight, but I'm going to lose. We're not going to be, when we're recovering, we're being selfish. And that means we're not going to like each other as much. Okay, and then for other one, we got altruist. We got support. A local explorer can get rid of a distress. That's really good in this one. And that's on the support one, which doesn't tick us down in a bad way. Then we have zealot. If we're using our energy die, we can and we traverse. An explorer traverse means we're moving not a free move, but taking the action to move, and we can take somebody with us. An explorer of your choice takes a standard traverse action. That could be anybody. In a 2-player game, this isn't that interesting, so I think we're going to do that one. And that's going to go on our support space right there. But we have one more thing to do in setting up these wonderful, cool characters. I'll name them as well. But we're going to be using these scientific specializations. So let me get those out. We're going to take a look at those. And it's done similarly. You pull 2 out and you draw 2 at random. They look like this. I'm going to do a quick shuffle. I didn't really read what any of these do, so it'll be really interesting to see. I just thought it'd be fun to play with a little extra oomph in the game. This could make it harder, could make it easier. It's hard to say. Okay, one more cut. We're going to draw from the bottom. We get to do the same thing. Draw 2, pick 1. So let's do another quick cut. Draw 2, pick 1. Okay. So there's the 2 right there, and I'll tell you how these work as we play, but it's pretty basic. So this one is Newton. It says Gravity Technician. That's our specialization. So when we get a engineering discovery, we can use this ability now. We can tick down a die, or looks like we lose it. We lose any die. This turn, you may freely move resources between your nodes and one adjacent node. That's pretty cool. I like that. That means we can move stuff around the board to collect it better. Proportional proportion. Now we have to have connecting breakthroughs, and you'll see how that works. But this one, again, we tick down a die. It's proportional repulsion. Place another local explorer onto an adjacent node, ignoring the node's symbols. That's pretty good, because sometimes symbols cost us a lot of time. Then the other one we got is the chrononaut, time dilation. Temporal trailblazing. This one actually is probably pretty powerful because it takes 2. FTL foresight. Once you've placed and regrouped all of your focus, you may place and then regroup one of them again. But we lose 2. That's weird. You do not need to rest again. Oh, that's interesting. Okay. Oh, we get to place them again, but we're going to lose 2 focus. We just don't lose any time. That's actually really powerful. It's like taking an extra turn. When you move this turn, ignore all non-edge symbols between 2 specific nodes. That's pretty good. I'm going with the chrononaut. I think we're a chrononaut. Now, how that works is on our board, this is simply going to sit here like an extra piece of our player mat. My boards are getting a little warped out here in my space. But that's that. So let's go on to the next one. For our other player, we got Terrapath. It says touch everything. For each time symbol you cross on a node edges using movement or traverse actions this turn, you gain 2 insight. Now again, we have to have the capability, and we have to tick down a thing, but that's insight's really powerful. It gives us additional breakthroughs. Grabby hands. This turn, instead of Luna scanning her node for materials or data, you may scan your own node. Immediately gain whatever resources are. Immediately gain whatever. That's really good. And then we got Harmonizer, Timeout, Chat. Remove all distress. This requires Luna. Remove all distress from an explorer if Luna is on the explorer's node. That's pretty good. And then Conferral Therapeutics. Observe the focus cube you rotated down to pay for this ability. Another explorer rotates their focus cube of that type to match yours. That's kind of... I get it. I don't know if I like it. I think I like this one better. We're going to go with the Terrapath on this one. And that is going to basically set up our characters. I have to try and make enough space for them to move some things around just a little bit. But we're now ready to go and see if we can discover how to cure ourselves of this infection on the planet of Wanora after we beat back in the previous one. I won't give you any spoilers, but solved a problem in the previous task that we had to achieve. Now we're on to the next task. So I'll see you in the next episode. We're going to have fun. We're going to have our blue player and green player. Please, the green player is a woman. The blue player is a man. Please give me some names if you want. I will have names for the playthrough as we go. So very excited about seeing this play out. And this is a super fun game. I hope you'll enjoy it. I know I will. And I'll see you in the next episode. Take care. Talk to you soon. Bye-bye.
Hello, I am Luna, your assistant. You can trust me.